today I want to talk about more ways to make additional money. And one way you could make additional money is to get another job. Look for another job that pays more. That could be a way to make more money. And a lot of people do that. Now I would really think about that before you just jump out and do it. I mean, it seems like it's an obvious fix to your situation, but I would really sit down and weigh the pros and cons. And the reason I say this is because without, giving out too much information, but my job during the day, I see a lot of people that are unemployed, that have worked, and now they're unemployed. And I see people that have left jobs, good paying jobs. Or no, I see people who have left a job that, was paying less for a better job, and they were, they were making more money. And then from there, they may get laid off or, fired. Usually it's a layoff. It's, the department is downsizing, or if it's a layoff, if it's a individual fire, somebody gets fired, that's a little different. That's really not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, like, let's use this one example. I know for me, I used to work in the pharmaceutical industry and doing the same work that I'm doing right now, same exact work. But I was paid a lot more money because the pharmaceutical industry paid more. They pay more money. Well, a lot of those companies have done major downsizing over the years. And so, they would do downsizing in droves, So, that's an example of, I was making more, and let's say I left my job now for a job in pharmaceuticals and was paid, I won't say double my salary, but I was paid a lot more. And then a layoff comes up, and then I'm back out unemployed again. Now, granted, you might be thinking, well, that could happen right now at your job. It could very well could. But my point is, before you just jump ship just because you find a job that pays more, I want you to really consider the pros and the cons. Because more money today, if you lose that job and can't find another job, for 6 months to a year, at the end of the year, you're not going to be any further ahead financially. If you have to collect unemployment, which is somewhere around 60% of your salary, you have to collect unemployment for 6 months, you're not going to be ahead. So don't jump from the, what is it that's saying? Don't jump from the frying pan into the fire, something like that. Really sit down. Of course, look at, like, come on. Oh my God, I every morning I'm behind some schmuck that doesn't know how to jump out and merge and get out there. Anyway, I want you to look at not just the income, the additional income, but also this is another factor, and this is for me one of the things keeping me at my current job. sometimes when you're working, I almost saw an accident. When you're making more money, you're working a job that pays more, you're working more hours for that, more money. Like my job now, I work 35 hours a week, period. There's no overtime. There's no overtime, but there's no staying late. There's no staying late to get caught up or even finish a project, and there's no coming in early. We just don't do that. It's the work hours are, let's say 8:30 to 4:30, Monday through Friday, period. And don't get me wrong, sometimes if I'm behind, I will log on the weekend every now and then. That's very rare though, honestly. It's very rare. But I will do it if I'm like really behind. I'll log in over the weekend, just to get caught up. Yeah. But for the most part, it's 8:30 to 4:30. So I want you to and of course you're going to ask on the interview, what are the hours? And they're going to tell you, oh, it's 9 to 5. Oh, it's 8 to 4. Oh, it's, 7 to 3. I want you to really ask, what are the chances of, how many people, do a lot of people stay late? Is there work that usually is not done in the regular day and, you're required to stay late? I mean, how does that work? Is it just everybody leaves at a certain time? Or, find out if you would be responsible for staying late, because those jobs that I have made a lot more money, I've also come in early and stay late, both on both ends. So you need to know that up front, because that's a factor. And not to say, I mean, yeah, if you're making more money, who cares, I guess, but that's taking away time from your family, or just from yourself, or just from whatever else you do. You may also work another a part-time job or side gig or something. You can forget that. You're not doing that while you're working all of these hours. So be careful, always thinking the grass is greener. Because more money does not necessarily mean it's Then the other factor, you have to of course you have to learn a whole new company, new systems, you're working with new people, and I'm not trying to be negative against you getting a new job and making more money. I just see it and quite frankly, on a daily basis. I see people that leave a job that's not paying, I guess it's not paying enough, or they want to make more money. So they'll leave a stable job they may have had for years. They'll jump ship for a job paying more money. And then in no time, they're either let go from that job, or they just can't take it because the management is, not the greatest. I mean, I'm at a point in my life where I have worked many, 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 many jobs, and, thank God in my early years this happened, and not now, but in my early years of working for different companies, I mean, I used to temp too, so it wasn't that I just left a job, but I did a lot of temp work in my 20s. And so, you go from, and I mean, I would work for some really big companies, good companies, but, oh my God, what was I saying? I would work for really good companies, but I had some of the worst bosses ever. I mean, I had a boss years ago. I would have an anxiety attack every time I got on the elevator to go up to the job. An anxiety attack. I mean, I was in my 20s, so, but I was just stressed out. And, it was just it just made for a horrific situation, Wait, I'm sorry. Somebody's sending me a notification. Yeah, I was stressed out. I would go home, and that's a job where I would work. I would go in early and I would stay late, and at the end of the day, I still got laid off. Which was a blessing, truly, because I was so stressed. I've had other jobs where I had one job, my boss was super, she, first of all, her hair was falling out, and she was very young. She was young woman, and her hair was falling out, which I thought was very weird. But she was extremely, I don't know if she had any OCD or what, but you had to make sure you had all your T's crossed and your I's dotted. And that's what every job, you gotta do. You gotta be on point. But I'm talking about, like, literally, like, if you use the wrong font, that was a problem. If it was extreme micromanagement. Sure, I made more money there. And that was, many, many years ago. That was over 20 years ago. But I wouldn't go back to that environment for no amount of money. You hear me? No amount of money can compensate for your peace and your longevity. Now, I've been at my job for 11 and a half years. I love my job. Yeah, I ain't gonna be rich working there, but I love it. I've been there. It's stable. We worked through the whole pandemic from home. And now we actually do work one day a week, hybrid, remote. So I'm just saying that just because you find a job that pays more money, it's not always, the grass is not always greener. That's all I'm saying. So really look at what you're getting yourself into, because it could be a nightmare. You could leave one situation that's kind of like, I don't make enough money here to make ends meet. I mean, I can say that right now at my job, like, it would be great to make an extra, an additional, rather, $20,000 a year. That would be great. But with that, what am I, what am I getting with that? Even 10,000. But for me, 10,000 does not, and then of course you have to look at the benefit package. Like right now I have a pension, and I know, people say, oh, pensions are going away. Yeah, it's going away, possibly, but what if it's not? What if it's not? So these are all some things to look at and weigh the pros and the cons before you just jump ship just because somebody's offering you more money. Okay, so I just want to leave you with that. There's always ways to make additional money. Again, you could work a side gig, and you probably are like, well, if I'm going to work a side gig, I'd rather just work one job and come in early and stay late and make that additional money. Well, yeah, that's true. But if you're stressed out doing it, I don't want to be somewhere that I have a manager, a supervisor that, is micromanaging me for more than 8 hours a day. Even 8 hours a day is too much. So anyway, but consider all of that before you jump ship and just get another job because they're paying more money. Because the grass is not always greener. That's it for today. Have a great one. Don't forget to like, comment below, and share the channel.